How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
All right, listen up, nacho chips. Quiet down, crispy potatoes. This is the moment Velveeta's been preparing you for, and you're not about to crack under pressure. Today's the day to go all in on the drip. Velveeta's Heat and Eat Queso is the MVP of any game day spread, so stick by them, and you'll be golden. Now get out there and make delicious history. No tailgate party is complete without Velveeta.
Tom, best ballpark food.
It's got to be the hot Italian sausage with peppers and onions on top. It's filling, it's hot, it's spicy, and it's got my favorite topping of all time, onions.
I have no rebuttal.
What?
I submit. You have won the opening question.
What? This is a first. Let's celebrate.
This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, we have our beloved sports theme elimination challenge. We have the dreaded risotto curse. We've got a cook-off for 20 large. We've got a lot.
A lot. And no Last Chance Kitchen recap this week because, of course, Rosica was sent home after they re-entered the competition. So we're awaiting the Rosica versus, we'll get to it, who gets eliminated on the show this week. But Kevin, we got another team challenge, but I actually like this team challenge because it did the thing that we were pining for last week, which is, why don't you pair up, go head to head, and then of those chefs, maybe you break it out into a more fair breakdown. It wasn't perfect, but I liked this kind of voting system. I thought that was fun. And we're 2 guys who covered sports for a living. This, I felt like was a successful sportsy episode.
Yeah, no, I think, and this is something they've done before, kind of the panel raises the flag, and we saw this at Rupp Arena.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great format. It's exciting. They actually capture sort of the dynamics of sports within the sportsy team challenge. And look, fortunately, by the way, I would say it looked like there were nothing but good to great dishes this week, but they did avoid this thing that kind of always rankles me in a team challenge where, hey, the worst of the 10 dishes didn't go home because they happened to be cooking with a bunch of other people who won their elimination head to head. So they weren't even exposed to the chopping block. So, they got away with one in that respect. And it's the fundamental flaw of a team challenge. But if it works, and that isn't the case where, hey, the weakest chef with the weakest dish goes home, happens to be on the losing team, you're fine. And they kind of escape that. By the way, I thought it was one of the more compelling quickfire challenges we've seen in a long time as well.
Let's just get into it, right?
Let's get into it.
Quickfire, a little product placement here for finish. They had to do a flambe dish. Now, Kevin, I was expecting maybe they had to clean something or wash something and then reuse it. I didn't quite understand the whole flambe. What was it that because burnt pans are harder to clean? Was that the thing?
I think so, but there's kind of this odd irony because also one of the tricks you learn when you cook, and you get really messy pots, especially messy, like a stainless steel pan, is that if you deglaze the pan with alcohol and you get that big fire, I love to make seared scallops, right? And you don't want to use a nonstick pan because you want to get that nice sear on the scallop. But man, Tom, it's my least favorite cleanup. It's like my partner's one of his favorite meals I make, but I just am dreading the post dinner. But I learned that if I just throw some vermouth or wine, it kind of takes off a lot of the schmutz. So I don't know, but I thought this would be kind of a pot cleaning challenge as well. I had the exact instinct too, but it wasn't. It is, they are going to flambe. In other words, you use kind of alcohol as a firing agent to get like a really good burn on something, get a good flame on something. And that's kind of what you're doing. Upa. I mean, you love Greek food. That's kind of the most, I think in terms of the populist imagination, that is like the most famous flambe. If you go out, you go up to Queens or you go to the Greek restaurant, you get the upa and the cheese goes on fire.
Yeah, the Saganaki, which is, Savannah did her Savannah Saganaki, which is a fun phrase to say. A little bit of a twist on there, but before we get to the actual dishes, though, Kevin, we got to talk about Brian Voltaggio. Hey, Brian, welcome back to the program. A 3-time competitor on 3 different levels. We have the classic Top Chef competitor in season 6, then Top Chef Masters and Top Chef All-Star. Brian Voltaggio. I forgot about how good his laugh is. He's got a great dad laugh. It's great. And then, of course, he brought a Tom Colicchio level of dad jokes and dad puns to the table on this one. So it was great to see Brian Voltaggio.
I am hoping that I get the opportunity. I think I have a Washington, D.C. trip planned for actually to go out to the Blue Ridge area. I think I'm going to eat at Thatcher and Rye the 3rd week in August. It's not guaranteed, but I think I've always wanted to eat there. You don't find yourself in Frederick, Maryland very often, but if you were driving from the district up to the mountains, you do find yourself in Frederick, Maryland. So I'm hoping that there will be a Thursday night dine at Thatcher and Rye. I would love to sample his food. Again, it's like your only shot. You don't get to taste the food on the show, but if you find these folks in their restaurant, you do.
Yeah. And he's all time. He's up on the pantheon of Top Chef competitors. So it was good to see him. And we have what starts out as a 20-minute quick fire, $10,000 for the winner. And then we get a twist that the winning trio would have to go into like a cook-off and then do another $10,000. So the winner gets $20,000. So it's kind of like a double or nothing for the chefs. And Kevin, just all around, probably the best food that we've gotten, like start to finish in this episode. And so it was not just a good format, the elimination challenge and the quickfire, but the food itself, top notch, starting with the quickfire.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was always one of the really nice things about this episode. It wasn't just that the challenge was fun on both ends, quickfire and elimination. It was, I think the chefs have scuttled a little bit in this season, right? There hasn't been, nowhere are you going to hear, this season is some of the best food we've ever had. It just, there have been some clunkers. I think some of that is a function of the challenges. Some of it might be nerves. We were treated to kind of an all-star season. We had we had various other seasons where there's just been an amazing concentration of talent, but like this was a great food. They didn't even have a bottom in the quickfire, Tom. Didn't even have a bottom.
Yeah.
Even the stuff that didn't, even among the other, the non-3 finalists, dishes were really good. I mean, Sue had his toasted brioche underneath like bruleed bananas and a fish sauce caramel. Loved that. Man, you and I are both mushroom guys. I mean, man, he's doing the mushrooms with the mescal and a pecorino ricotta toast. I wanted so much of that. You had Michelle doing a flambéed mushroom and bacon toast that had your name written all over it.
Yeah.
Sweet potato puree and goat cheese. What else? I mean, there was a lot of good stuff. And Saganaki, that's the second time Savannah's done Greek influenced. That's the second time she's done like kind of Greek. Didn't she have what was that? Was it the avgo limono sauce? Is that the one you taught me?
Yeah, avgo limono sauce. Yeah. The Greek soup. That's my girl. She's not on my team, but because she's the Southern Pines North Carolinian who works out of Durham, I got to go check out the restaurant that she works at. And she's doing a couple of Greek dishes.
Yeah.
Let's go. And also her dad's like a special forces negotiator. That is an incredible lineage there. So I want to see that come through at one of these challenges. Maybe we will get it next week at Restaurant Wars. Breaking news, Restaurant Wars next week. Maybe we'll get some of that, her dad's kind of negotiating tactics in Restaurant Wars. We'll see, but I'm really loving what she did this week. And I know she was in the bottom for the elimination challenge, but I really liked that. The molasses with the flambé peaches, Saganaki. It was cheesy. It was delicious.
That was the one I wanted.
I'll tell you, Dan, that's not what the one I would have wanted. Although I like a good char. Hey, pause here. I love charred food. Like the burnt ends at any barbecue joint. When you get that really good char on a grilled Caesar, I'm a sucker for some char. I don't know about you.
It's actually funny you say that. Like I've been thinking that one of my holy grail items is at some point I'd love a wood-fired oven.
Yeah.
With some capacity to just kind of throw in some romaine hearts. I love that, like charred Caesar.
Broccolini, charred broccolini, like the margin of like raw broccolini to charred broccolini is enormous. I mean, in terms of the margins, what is the biggest margin of vegetable, uncooked vegetable to like a charred vegetable? Broccolini is pretty high on there. Not that broccolini is bad on its own, but man, a charred broccolini, whoo!
Yeah, I mean, what I'm able to do occasionally with the broccolini, there's like Gelina in Venice, California, is a great restaurant, but even a better cookbook, and they have a broccolini. I'm sometimes able to get the char in the pan, but it's just not the same, man. Like I'm with you, especially with those sort of those veggies. I'm there's possibly a wood fired oven in my future one of these days, but yeah, so kind of a little twist. They think they're cooking for 10 grand. You get the top 3 finalists, and it was Kevin with his grilled shrimp flambe and fennel potato puree, and I think Voltaggio loved the plating. He's been iffy in the last few weeks, so good to see Kevin with a nice quick fire entry. Danny does a play on aguachile with the grilled prawns. He's got some tangerine habanero sauce and gets some smoke from the mezcal. I did not know that mezcal did that. I'm not a mezcal drinker.
I am.
Apparently it provides a little element of smoke.
Yes.
And then Amanda, let's talk about Amanda for a second. We will talk about her throughout the day. It's always been a case with Amanda where her ideas, her compositions, her concepts are great. And can the execution catch up to the conceptions? And I'm telling you, this was a week that was just like peak Amanda. She had this baked Hawaii with a coconut lime brioche French toast. Oh, jeez Louise. Caramelized mango, a lime coconut vanilla meringue. And she ends up on the top 3. Tom, I'm talking about Amanda because I just have a crush on her food.
Yeah, and that it was kind of zagging while everyone was zigging, like the idea of doing a dessert dish there was really brilliant. And everything that she said and everything it looked like, she's so calm. She's never freaking out, and she has such great concept and execution that I really think that she's coming in her own here. And I don't know, Kevin, maybe I should propose a Savannah and Amanda trade because I really want Savannah, and I know that Amanda's got a lot of high stock right now, so maybe it's time to sell high, but I'd hate to give up Amanda, but that's something I might propose here because she is great, and I know you're big on Amanda, and I'm sure the chef's table would they would engage on those terms, I would say. And I would say also, Kevin, I had a thought here. The grilled shrimp, I'm sorry. I have this thing about shrimp tails. Get rid of them. Why do we do shrimp tails? Why do shrimp tails exist on a dish? Get rid of them.
I must introduce you to my partner who just cannot stand the existence of shrimp tails.
They're the worst. And I know that there's something to like, if you have it on a shrimp cocktail, you can use it as a handle, like it's a bone or something. You're going to eat like a turkey leg or a Bam Bam from Flintstones. I get it. It can be like a little glove for your hand. When it's in a dish, doesn't need the shrimp tails. I saw the shrimp tails in there. Just get rid of it. I'm sorry. Like, and when it's in a pasta, like an Italian pasta, and you got to like,
pain.
It's a pain. So anyway,
you sauce all over your hands. I'm with you there.
It's the only little note I had here, but he gets, Danny did, now that I think about it, did Danny do the same thing? If Danny did the same thing, to hell with that too. Danny and Kavan, if you had tails on your shrimp, fine. But he did the aguachile with the mezcal. I love mezcal. Tequila's a little softer on the hangover the next morning. So I like a good tequila. And then when you have a mezcal, which adds a little bit of smoke to it, I'm all about the smoke. Like you get an old fashioned and sometimes they do a smoked old fashioned. What if you just had a smoky tequila? That's what a mezcal is. And I'm a big fan. So Danny continuing his onslaught on the competition, validating my high draft pick. I love Danny's game.
And then this is your event because they go from flambe to char. There's a twist. This is not just a $10,000 quick fire challenge. It's a $20,000. They double the money for the 3 finalists in a cook-off. Danny, Amanda, and Kevin had the best first round flambe, so now they will do a charred dish. I also wanted to say right now, and I was watching, what these chefs can do in 20 minutes. I know I must have said it 100 times on this broadcast. What these chefs can do, I can't, like the fact that Amanda could think and conceive of a baked Hawaii or the coconut lime brioche French toast. It'd take me 20 minutes to even conceive that, much less prepare it. Like what they're able to do in these quick fires, sometimes even more impressive than the elimination challenge. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it blows my mind because like my brain is spinning. But now they've got to go right out, if you know, out of the frying pan into the fire. They have to do a charred element, right? And you've got Danny, Amanda, and Kevin. And interestingly enough, you get one fowl, one fish, and one meat. And so Amanda goes with the grilled veal chop, charred corn relish, and grilled peaches. Kevin, and we'll talk about the panko fried squab legs, which apparently, what did she say? Kristen Kish said she'd have 12 of them.
Yes, you would have 12 of them. Yeah.
He does it with a green curry yogurt sauce. I think the one mistake Kevin makes is the only real char is not every element is charred. Like he didn't lean into char.
Mm-hmm.
And then Danny, the most technically adept chef in the competition, wins the challenge that demands the most technique. And he does a charred grilled branzino, but with a charred poblano puree and charred avocado. He is Mr. Balance, Mr. Technique. And all three of those dishes look divine.
Can you explain to me, Kevin, he decided to put like an extra grill on top of the grill so that it would get the right char on the branzino skin, right? So I guess what he was thinking is just the texture of the branzino is amplified by that kind of crosshatch of the grill. He does that. The grilled avocado, he said it was for a creaminess. I've had a grilled avocado that kind of felt really bitter almost, and I was worried that would kind of give off an extra bitterness to that dish and it wouldn't work, but they loved it. They loved the branzino. They loved the avocado. It gave it a little bit of different texture. And Amanda, again, like I would eat the crap out of that dish, the veal chop. And I think, if Danny didn't bring it on that, I think she would have had the winning dish because she had the char, she had the flavor, and she brought it.
I thought she was going to win, just based again, her concept was so strong. I mean, those great like late summer flavors, like charred corn, grilled peaches. I love like a grilled peach with a protein. This is going to be the summer of sort of peach salsas and grilled peaches on various dishes in my house. Like I've kind of committed myself to that. But Danny I think Danny's one of those things where it's just, at the end of the day, his food just tastes better than everything. I mean, there's a little bit of a Buddha quality to it where, hey, I looked at those three plates. I really thought Amanda was going to win, but there was apparently there's something. Danny's got a certain flair in his food. And again, this is the only difficulty of not being able to taste the food. But, his grilled branzino, which doesn't seem like a wow dish, just wowed everybody.
Would you take him over the field? Like he's been so good. But then actually, you know what, Michelle wins the elimination challenge, so I can't really throw that in there too. But Danny, I just feel like is so good. And the field that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, he's got also the technique. I mean, I think what happens in the final four is, especially you get into like the final dinner, is you get to the point where often the winning top chef has just an elevated level of technique. It's just something that at the end of the day, when Tom Colicchio, Kristen Kish, who is an ultimate technician, I mean, I think it's going to be even more so in her reign. Mm-hmm. And Gail Simmons are sitting at a final table, and the chefs have all day to cook. No, you're not cooking in front of a campfire or with a blindfold or on a mule or whatever the hell, like the technical chefs. And he clearly has a technical edge over the field. It just feels that way. Savannah clearly has a fair amount of technique. You get the sense that Sue probably does. And I do think Dan does, but it's, I just think there is a level of technique that says to me, do I take him over the field? Not with 10 chefs or 9 chefs left. I think there will be a breaking point in a few weeks where that could be the thing.
Mm-hmm. I just think so highly of him. And to wrap up the quickfire, Voltaggio comes in with the reveal of just like, and the winner who burned the competition was... And I'm just like, oh, somewhere Tom Colicchio is just like laughing, just like, yes, he nailed it. Stuck the landing on the pun. He's born for that, for those dad puns. So yeah, Danny wins this one. Amanda and Kevin with runner up, and we don't get a bottom, like you said. So for those who do a scoring system with the bottom 3 in the quickfire, we didn't get that. So if you had to pick, Kevin, is there one that you saw that you're like, you know what, if there was a bottom, this wasn't a winner?
No, because I don't think anybody mis-executed me. Look, I thought Dan did not have a great week in terms of he's been so creative. And I thought, hey, grilled radicchio and cucumber salad. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. If those 10 items are on a menu, I know which one I'm crossing out first. And it's a grilled radicchio and cucumber salad. Even though we just lauded how much fun it is to eat grilled romaine and grilled radicchio, it has a similar has a similar appeal. At the end of the day, I think he was just not his usual creative self this week.
And I think he admitted as much in the episode where he was just like, I'm just trying to get by here and moving on to the next one. So yeah, I didn't think there was 3 that would be on the bottom, but I thought Manny and Michelle had very similar dishes that I would eat the crap out of. Anytime you have mushroom and cheese and bacon in there, you throw that in there. Big fan of that.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS. Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with a cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago. And I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
All right, quickfire. In the books, elimination challenge, Kevin. We have our old friend Amar Santana coming by with these sausage racing, cartoonish mascots who run in there, and he's wearing a Brewers jersey. So we know we're going to, you and I, one of our passions is baseball. We're going to the Miller Park.
Great park. I've been there. Also great park in the summer. Just one of those great summers. Brewers have a great tradition. I mean, I am old enough to remember, like, they were just the teams with the best mustaches in the early 80s, Tom. Not only did you have Raleigh Fingers, you had like Pete Vukovich, you have Gorman Thomas, Cecil Cooper had a beard. They were just like they're always like, they were like one of those teams that was just like all like, just, they were very hirsute.
Yeah.
And the 82 Brewers were a damn good team. They lost the Cardinals, I believe, in the World Series that year. But great park, great tradition in Milwaukee for baseball. My Braves are descended from Milwaukee. And really just kind of a sausage racing makes me laugh, Tom.
It is.
It just makes me laugh. I like watching sausages race in those silly costumes. They're kind of funny.
Really, every time they came on the screen and just like hopping around and high-fiving, I was just giggling throughout the entire episode. Yeah, and the way they fall over each other and they're so top-heavy that it just kind of falls over like a Jenga board. It's great.
Help me out here. Who are the racing creatures in baseball right now? You got the pierogies in Pittsburgh. You got the sausages in Milwaukee. The presidents in D.C. Are there others I'm forgetting?
In Charlotte, I think we have the founding fathers, because there's this whole legend. We don't have to get into it, but Charlotte claims, Mecklenburg County claims that they were the actual founding fathers of America, seceding from Great Britain and England. And so we get these like kind of characters here in Charlotte, but that's a AAA baseball team. Doesn't qualify as a Major League Baseball team. But I would say, Kevin, this one takes the cake. I'm sorry, the Milwaukee Brewers sausage race, it's kind of the original.
It is.
And of the five, we've got hot dog, we got the Polish sausage, the Italian sausage, chorizo, and bratwurst. Now, Kevin, we're getting some information now. Hold on, stand by. Maze is saying the Tampa Bay Rays have a race sponsored by PepsiCo. The owners of the naming rights to Tropicana Field, their races between large bottles of Pepsi, Pepsi Max, Aquafina, and Sierra Mist. Get out of here with that.
Yeah. I mean, the Kansas City Royals, Maze says, has various Heinz condiments. Meanwhile, Heinz is from Pittsburgh. It's not even their home thing. Like, I'd understand if like Pittsburgh had the Heinz condiments, because like on Mad Men, like the beans guy.
Yeah.
Sauces and beans.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be like, if it's going to be the Heinz, it's got to like, that would have to be in see, Atlanta is the Home Depot. Now, Home Depot is from Atlanta, but this is where it got corporate. No, I don't want the corporate sponsorship. I just want pierogies make sense in Pittsburgh. Sausages make sense in Milwaukee. Presidents make sense in Washington.
Yeah.
God, they just kind of, it's like every gay pride rally I go to now. It's just like some corporate fair. Like can't you just have mascot racing the way it should be?
We don't need Aquafina. Who's rooting for Aquafina to win the race?
No one's rooting. No one in the history of the world is like, go Aquafina. You might root for Teddy Roosevelt if you come from a particular political progressive tradition. I can see that. You might root for Polish sausage if you are of Polish extraction. You might root for a specific pierogi if but like, I don't know. These ballparks, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as another dad pun, we get on the way out the door to the elimination, and the wiener is going to, that was another Brian Voltaggio.
Nice.
The wiener of the competition will be the one who gets the best food.
Very nice job there, Voltaggio. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, Kevin, the 5 different choices here. Is Polish sausage synonymous with kielbasa? Is that what Polish sausage is called, or is that a different variety? I thought it was kielbasa was Polish sausage.
No, I thought that is Polish sausage. That is my understanding too. But this is not really my great event, I have to say. Like, sausage is not where I live in terms of culinary understanding. But yeah, isn't kielbasa just the kind of a Polish sausage is the question.
I think it is, and it's just in a U shape, right? It's a different shape, and it's kind of like an upside down Robin Yount handlebar mustache. If we're going to throw in, Robin Yount had a great mustache, Kevin, to add to your Brewers.
Oh yeah, another one.
Great handlebar all the way down. My first baseball team, my first Little League baseball team when I was a kid was the Brewers, and so I, of course, fell in love with the Brewers and Paul Molitor and Robin Yount, and so Robin Yount was my first baseball love as a kid. I had a lot of Robin Yount cards when I was a kid. So here we go. We got chorizo. Now there's two types of chorizos. I did my homework on this. There's a Spanish chorizo and a Mexican chorizo. The Mexican chorizo is ground like pork rather than in a casing, whereas Spanish chorizo is cured and smoked, and a Mexican is kind of like added to things rather than being the main event. So there's the chorizo. Italian sausage. Now, I'm not much of a cook, but I have done what I call the Haber sausage, which is the Haber sausage is a hot Italian sausage that you grill and then you dice up and then you throw a ton of lime juice on top of it and some oregano. It's 3 ingredients. It's a great summer dish. It is awesome. So if you're listening at home, I think there is a YouTube video on Count the Dings that I've done before, but it's just hot Italian sausage grilled and then diced up. And then you throw a bunch of fresh limes, cut them up and squeeze them on there. And then you sprinkle some oregano. I got that recipe from my parents when we lived in Brazil, just that citrus with the spicy and the meat. It is it's a huge crowd pleaser. So big fan of Italian sausage. I usually go with the hot, but I know that's, it's a little spicy for some folks. So if you're going to the market, get yourself a mild, and it's still got a little bit of heat in there, but I'm a fan of Italian sausage. Bratwurst is, I guess, like the Milwaukee bratwurst.
Classic German sausage, I think.
Yeah, it's originated in German, but like it's very popular in Milwaukee.
You boil in beer sometime. That was always kind of what I did when I had back in the day when I do like one barbecue a year.
Yeah, it's usually simmered in beer, butter, and onion.
And then you grill.
Yeah, and then you grill it, you throw in the case, and then it's all great. And then there's the hot dog. Okay, so Kevin, of the 5, we've already established that the hot Italian sausage with the peppers and the onions is the all-time great Polish ballpark food. But do you have any strong opinions about how to properly but the toppings on a hot dog? Because this is a very controversial topic in America, is whether ketchup belongs on a hot dog.
I personally do not believe ketchup belongs on a hot dog. I believe in kind of the sanctity of mustard and relish.
Yes.
However, I still think the greatest topping on a hot dog is diced onions.
Onions. I cook an omelet every Saturday morning with caramelized onions. I just saute the shit out of the onions, and then it gets that umami, that buttery, that kind of sweet texture to it. And then you throw in I throw in some capers in there to get a little bit of salt, and then I throw in the egg, and I make sauteed onions or caramelized onions like every weekend. I can't get enough of the onion. And then you got like mustard, onion, diced onions on a hot dog. I'm all about it. One time, Kevin, I sat down in college. I sat down and watched the Yankees game with my buddy Pete. I ate 13 hot dogs in one sitting, and it was crazy. I was trying to get to 18 because Babe Ruth once ate 18 hot dogs before a game and hit 2 home runs, as the legend says it, and I thought I could do it. I got to 13, I tapped out. But at a Fenway game, if I'm at the Red Sox game and they have the Fenway Franks going around, I can put down 4, no problem.
I forget that Nathan's eating record is probably up in the 50s or 60s at some point. But now my father is very partial to the slaw dog at the Varsity, Atlanta's famous.
Oh, yeah.
Drive-through fast food restaurant, massive, one of the largest fast food restaurants in the world. He was always very partial to slaw dog, and they do it very, very well. And I do at Varsity. I used to get the old chili dog back when I used to eat this stuff. Chili's still a nice, a modest chili, a very fine chili, kind of ground up. I think is still a great topping. But I'm with you. I mean, by and large, I'm a libertine. And I think if you're a person who likes ketchup on your hot dog, Godspeed, go with it. You only have to answer. That's between you and your God if you like ketchup on a hot dog. It really is. I don't personally think it's correct, but I am believe and live and let live here. And so if you like ketchup on your hot dog, you're a football fan, bless you. Good for you.
You're stereotyping football fans as having ketchup on their hot dog?
Yeah, I just think it's not something you see in baseball. I think it's something you see in football.
I think it's at Wrigley Field that they'll just like kick you out if you have any ketchup on your hot dog.
Now, back in the day when I went to, was it Wrigley or Fenway? I'm talking about like the 80s. When I was a little kid, I remember seeing, going up north, one of those two parks, that the guy, if you bought it in the stands, he just had this like that he just had a stick and he'd dip it in the mustard and just like stroke it across the wiener and then hand it. It was like a stick that they just, it was the coolest thing ever. Like your doctor, the compressor, the tongue compressor. Like it just looked like that. It's a very freaking cool thing.
Some things we can leave behind in the 80s, but other things we need to bring back. And that is one of the things we should bring back is the scolding, the little teacher style, just, the little tongue compressor stick. We need to bring that back because ketchup doesn't belong on a hot dog. And if you believe it, you know what? You got to grow up. Okay. Go with the mustard on the hot dog and join the rest of us adults. You can sit at the kids' table with your ketchup. Anyway, Kevin, Sue and Danny get the hot dog. We break out into teams. It's a team challenge.
Now let me ask you about breaking out into teams, Tom, because this is an area of your focus.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit of a missed opportunity here. What is synonymous with kind of splitting up in sports teams? You pick your teams.
You draft.
And I, for one, would have enjoyed watching two captains. I always am curious how the contestants handicap each other. I mean, you and I and great broadcast with Vince. You got your power rankings. You know how you rank them. I'm curious that if you gave two of these 10 chefs the capacity to choose their teammates, what they would do. It tells me a lot about how they appraise each other's skills, about how they appraise each other's teamwork and comportment. And I frankly think it was a little bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think of that, but you're right, Kevin. This would be perfect for a sports challenge to bring in the draft. I guess the thing you would have to figure out is who picks the second, who's the co-captain, because we already know that Danny is going to win. He won the quickfire, so therefore he might be able to be the captain of one of the teams. So you have to figure out like between Amanda or Kevin, whether they're going to be the co-captain on the other team or the other captain of the other team.
Or you pick knives for the captains, you could do that.
Okay. Yeah, because we do know that it's so cut and dry, whether it's an actual advantage to be drafting first in a drafting challenge. So I think it was a missed opportunity, Kevin. You're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up. We have the blue team, which is the dudes plus Savannah. So we have Dan, Savannah, Sue, Kevin, and Manny. And then Danny's on the yellow team with the other women, Michelle, Kalina, Amanda, Laura. Handicap it for me, Kevin. When they broke out into two groups, who did you think had the advantage here?
In this house, we thought the yellow team had the advantage. They had the strongest chef in the competition, and we liked that team. I thought it was a close call, but I just felt like there were, that was the strongest team.
I feel the same way. I like the yellow team, and I think that there's a clear leader on that squad. And just by virtue of winning the quickfire, I think Danny, just by virtue of winning that, kind of has a voice, a stronger voice in there. So you kind of do need a leader in the same way that the Phoenix Suns didn't know who was the leader on the team. They got swept because they didn't have that leadership role in the locker room. So I like that with the yellow team. They come out and they have to basically figure out who is going to do what. Sue decides to take the hot dog because he wants to do like Korean corn dog. You know what? If I'm the blue team, I feel pretty good about Sue doing the hot dog because he's going to do something pretty crazy and not make it so boring.
No, he is excelled. And I mean, when we saw that sandwich that he did, that's the first thing I thought of when he said Korean corn dogs, that sandwich he did in the breakfast challenge back in Last Chance Kitchen. Like this challenge, hot dog challenge, was made for Sue.
Yeah. French fries in the cornmeal?
In the batter. I thought that was brilliant. And I have a million questions. I really do. And then just the perfect combination of condiments, right? The wasabi, jalapeno, mayo, give it a little heat and creaminess. Scallions, you want that, just the bite of the onion, and nori flakes. And then a little side of ginger, which is a little touch. I mean, just a little palate cleanser. It's a cute little touch that sort of brings it back into the Asian tradition. And I thought that was great. But you can't also argue in this town, especially in my town, in Los Angeles, I'll tell you, the bacon-wrapped hot dog is next to godliness. Did a little melted cheese around that, Danny did, with a brioche bun. And then gave it a little refinement with the braised cabbage, beet relish. And that was, by the way, Tom, this was our closest, tied with the Manny and the Manny Laura contest, but 9-6 is pretty close. Are you as fascinated as I am about how people voted and who was in the minority opinion on the court there?
Oh, I didn't make note of this.
I made note of it.
Okay, talk to me.
All right. So on the 9 and the majority rule included our faithful host, Kristen Kish. However, Tom, Gail, and Amar voted for Danny.
Ooh.
You know, you had Kristen and like some of those stadium people. And then, I'll tell you, Tom, Gail, and Amar were on the other side of this.
Oh, there's an alliance.
So let me just say this. Imagine, like, generally, you could argue the 4 core judges. Oh, Voltaggio. Okay, so Voltaggio. But like, even if it were you just took like the 2 top chef luminaries, Amar and Voltaggio, and the 3 main judges, Danny would have won that 3-2. You open it to a few more folks, more democratic, right? More representation. But just saying, it was very interesting. Tom, Gail, and Amar went on the other side of things.
Interesting. I love that. You know, this is probably the time to mention to the listeners, we're going to have Amar Santana joining the podcast for our premium listeners. They're going to be able to listen to that interview. Amar, I am now fascinated about the voting breakdown of that event. And I'm sure Amar has some strong opinions about when he was in the minority and when he was in the majority here. So the bacon, I'm surprised. LA strong bacon wrap hot dog.
Oh, it is the official hot dog of Los Angeles. When you walk out of every sporting event, you walk out of Staples Center for a Clipper or Laker game, there are just vendors with bacon wrapped hot dogs. That is our thing.
I would have thought it would be something healthy, like a lettuce wrapped hot dog or something like that.
See, there are many different Los Angeleses. You're thinking of like yoga, hike Runyon Canyon at dawn, vegan Los Angeles. Then there's like the other Los Angeles, right? And frankly, probably the majority Los Angeles, which this is the torta, bacon hot dog, donut shops everywhere Los Angeles.
Okay.
I mean, old school donut shops. I'm not talking about the artisanal donuts. I'm talking about just like Winchell's and all the great kind of, Randy's donuts, which you've seen in a million movies and whatnot. So, Los Angeles is a very bifurcated or really trifurcated and quadricated place. Like it's just, but yeah, you have the vegan challenges in Top Chef California, and then you have this. So, but it is a bacon wrapped hot dog is kind of one of the great unofficial foods of the town. As
much as I love Danny here, I would have loved to eaten that Sue-on corn dog. That looked so good, Kevin. So I know he's my guy, but I'm going to go with Sue-on as the winner here. And even though Kristen voted there with against the grain, Sue-on wins the first one. Second one, we got Savannah versus Michelle. Michelle's doing an etouffee with grits, and Savannah does her pierogies. And Kevin, how did you score this one? What'd you think?
I think Savannah fell victim to what the other 3 on the bottom fell victim to, which is her dish. I made pierogies this year for the first time. It's hard. She apparently made one of the better pierogies they've seen, but there wasn't enough highlighting of the sausage, right? So at the end of the day, you got to be true to the challenge. This is a challenge meant to highlight the ingredient that is sausage. Hers was more potato filling dominant. And whereas Michelle just did something brilliant, right? So etouffee is just a great dish. It's a seafood stew made with a roux, very Cajun style. It's normally served over white rice, right? And now Michelle goes very classical in her prep. She's talking about the Holy Trinity, which is kind of Cajun mirepoix, right? Regular mirepoix is, carrots, onion, celery. In Cajun cooking, they swap out the carrots for peppers, right? And so she does a very like when you're watching, it's like, oh, she's making a traditional roux, like she's doing real regular etouffee, which is normally made with seafood. Now she swaps in the Polish sausage, still stays very true to the kind of what etouffee is. It's just sausage in lieu of seafood. So it's like and instead of rice, she does grits, which does serve very similar function, right? It's this sort of the starch that soaks up this beautiful, almost stew-like thing that is etouffee. So like, it is just classic Michelle genius, right? I'm going to take a traditional dish or a dish that has sort of a very defined quality, and I'm going to make it my own, but not bastardize it. But I'm going to make my food. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be absolutely true to the challenge. Like it was just like, this was, as the winning dish, this was just a masterclass, Tom, in how to win an elimination challenge starring Chef Michelle.
And maybe there's a little tie-in here because she was a college athlete, a college softball player at Texas Southern. So maybe she just was born for this episode. And clearly with this dish, it was her moment and she just nailed it. Another dish that I would have loved to have eaten, but I get it. The pierogies, while executed nicely, it needed to play up a little bit more of the Polish sausage. And she got it. She was like, yep, totally get it. I wanted more of it, but I just didn't get enough of the sausage in there.
If you are keeping score at home, I'm going to say the 13-2 votes. So it was a pretty resounding win for Michelle.
That's right. So far, yellow with 19 and the blue team with 11 if you want to do aggregate score as well here.
welcome to Sephora. I'm looking for a perfume that's not too perfumey.
I got you. Serum moisturizer or moisturizer serum.
Let's get into layering.
My concealer is making me look worse?
Sounds like the wrong shade. Let's get you matched.
There's only one store that really gets what you're going for. Get beauty from people who get beauty. Only at Sephora.
Hi,
Let's get you a basket.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by The Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Italian sausage. We've got Kevin with a little bit of a scary moment here, deciding to do risotto with the Italian sausage with a Parmesan kind of foamy. It was heavy on the cheese. And then on the other side, we had Kalina with this red sauce and potato gnocchi and Calabrian chili. Maybe my favorite dish of the entire challenge. It looks so good what Kalina made. And Kevin, risotto, a really difficult choice here from Kevin.
According to Top Chef stats, there have been 7 risotto eliminations over the course of Top Chef history. It is one of the great tropes of Top Chef is make risotto at your own risk. Kevin, of course, does the old great scene from Arrested Development, one of the great comedies of all time.
Yes.
When the David Cross character and the Portia de Rossi character
I knew where you're going.
are discussing the possibility of having an open marriage.
As a therapist, I have advised a number of couples to explore an open relationship where the couple remains emotionally committed, but free to explore extramarital encounters.
Well, did it work for those people?
No, it never does. I mean, these people somehow delude themselves into thinking it might, but it might work for us.
But maybe it'll work for us.
But maybe it will work for us. Just the way he delivers it is so classic. I love him. David Cross.
It is the ultimate, this is the elevation of Charlie Brown in the football, right? And here comes Kevin. Somehow he is going to do what other talented chefs have fallen victim to, but he's not going to. He's going to make risotto and win, right? Now, by the way, I just don't think that's a reason enough not to make risotto. I appreciate the bravery if you feel like you can pull off a risotto. The problem is like he just did risotto. Whether you think the Parmesan fennel emulsion was too cheesy or not cheesy enough, like it isn't a very sausagey dish.
No.
I don't know if he used any of the sausage grease in sort of in the cook, but you know, he kind of did what one of the other, the last of the 3 chefs that ended up on the bottom, Dan did, which is like, hey, here is an Italian dish, because I am the Italian sausage guy on my team. And here's a little side of Italian sausage with my Italian dish. Not incorporated the way that Kalina, I just want to talk about, is your favorite dish. I mean, Tom, you talk about just how great it is, a hot Italian sausage. She got that hot Italian sausage. The Calabrian chili is just such a wonderful ingredient. As someone who doesn't love spicy food, I love the Calabrian chili spice. And she does an entire ragu out of it. Her potato gnocchi are silky and pillowy and everyone's raving. She hit this out of the park. I thought she was going to maybe win the whole thing, Tom. I got to tell you, I thought going in to the clubhouse, she was going to be named MVP.
I have it here. Kalina was my guess. Right with you, Kevin. Not only at the top of the show with the hot Italian sausage, but here I was right with you. We did not watch this together, folks listening at home. I had Kalina winning this challenge as well. I was a little surprised that Michelle got the MVP, not undeserving, but Kalina's looked so good. And congrats to her for coming back from Last Chance Kitchen. Little bit of a rocky season so far for Kalina, and I had her pretty high on the list because of the fact that she had so many cooking competition experience, and she comes in with, man, I get a lot of acid reflux and heartburn when I eat a lot of spicy food and tomatoes and a red sauce. This dish would keep me up all night and I'd still be happy about it.
Are you 40 yet?
I'm right there. I'm 38. I'm almost there.
I promise you it gets a lot worse.
It's so bad right now. I don't want it to get any worse. But I can't quit it. Like pizza, like we had Papa John's the other night at a kid's birthday party. I had like 17 slices of Papa John's pizza. I was up all night. It was terrible. It was awful. And it's just, I'm going to have to start doing like, an actual like prescription of acid reflux or what have you.
Oh, omeprazole or whatever it's called. I take that.
Okay.
And it's actually available over the counter. I highly recommend it.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Because the Kevin dish, you know what was interesting about Kevin's? And it was kind of this really cool moment between he and Tom Colicchio. When Tom was like, hey, how long does it take to do a risotto? 30 minutes. And how long were you out here for? The time allotted while you're out here on the field? 45. So why didn't you do a risotto cooked to order out on the field? And Kevin says, well, because then what the hell am I going to do for 2 hours prepping beforehand? And Tom goes, who cares? Who cares? If you want to nail the risotto, just prepare the risotto live to order out on the field. And I felt bad for Kevin because it was like, it would be kind of weird for him to just like sit on his hands for the 2 hours on the prep. I get why he wanted to not be looking like an idiot there. But like to Tom's credit, like that's an important thing is to cook the risotto so it's fresh and it's not multi-grained like they said.
Right. And actually, there was an interesting contrast to last week, right? Because you had Danny with a scallop choux farci, right? And what was he doing? He was waiting around. Like, look, sometimes if you're really resourceful, you come up with a concept that's going to take less time to execute than the clock affords. I mean, that's top chef mastery right there is, hey, I'm going to make, last week, in addition to just making this refined dish that Tom Colicchio thought was the best thing he's had in 20 years, not only did he do that, he did it while basically futzing around the kitchen for an hour. Like if you like, that's the whole point. I mean, this is why I think Danny is just such a strong competitor, right? Like he did that with time to spare. Like I'm with you. Who cares? By the way, maybe you figure out a smart way to incorporate Italian sausage more with a better gravy or something. I mean, there are many things you do. Who cares? I'm with Tom, and that to me is why frankly, it's why Danny's on top and Kevin's going home. Is right. Like you don't take into consideration the contours of the game. If you have too much time, great, you've won. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Like you've chosen a dish and that you can execute in less time than you're allotted. That is a wonderful luxury. Not every chef has that. You should take advantage of it, as Danny did last week with his scallop choux farci, where he's just chilling. He was just chilling. It doesn't take him that long. And I thought that, that was one of Danny's geniuses last week.
Kalina wins this one. She has 13 votes to 2. I actually really like how the vote reveal goes. Like there's a lot of drama in that. And you can see it in the chefs, how excited they get when they come out victorious. And I like that. It's competitive out there. And it was a really cool element of the show that I want more of, is that raising of the flags and then the final count. 13-2 for Team Yellow. So right now they're winning like handily in terms of the overall vote, 32 points to teen. But because, we're doing, the points don't carry over, right? It just like in the NBA finals, you can be outscored, but you can still win 4-3 in 7 games. So they take a 2-1 lead going into chorizo. And of course we got Manny and Laura here, both, from Latin backgrounds. We're going to have a chorizo challenge and we're going to see who's got the best chorizo. And you know what? This was close too.
Manny does a totella, which as far as I can understand, it's not a food I was familiar with. It's like kind of a masa spanakopita, it looks like. Chorizo and cheese totella, roasted salsa, avocado crema. Looks pretty simple, but boy, did they love it. Laura does a chorizo kebab taco, yogurt sauce, and a chorizo relish. I thought this was the most interesting vote and the most interesting contest. It went for Manny 9-6. However, Tom voted for Laura. And though I didn't taste the food, I agree. If the chefs did not consider the fact that Laura made her own chorizo and Manny did not, I'm sorry, I got to give it to Laura. That's a huge thing. It's not store-bought exactly, but it kind of is. I mean, she's making her own chorizo. And I don't know if it's even close. I think you got to give it to Laura. I'm with Tom on this one.
Do you think Tom appreciates that more than the average voter? Because there are some restaurateurs and also some other chefs, but do you think Tom, just as a taster, do you think he appreciates more of the from scratch than, say, I get it, the Hebrew Hammer, Ryan Braun, very good looking guy, by the way. He has very nice eyes. I did not realize this when he was playing for the Brewers, but he was actually really impressive as a judge. But I don't think he values the chorizo from scratch quite like Tom does, or maybe some of the others.
Yeah. Now, I mean, look, the counter argument is this is a challenge of which dish tastes better. And if Manny's dish tasted better, then he wins. But I think it's also a contest of craftsmanship. And in that respect, it's kind of the old from the box or from the mix question, right? That's worth considering. And I didn't, until, I guess, going back and thinking about the kitchen segments of the shoot, yeah, we did see her doing her own chorizo in a way that we didn't see Manny. I just think that should count for something. And I'm a huge fan of Laura, and I actually, quite like Manny. It was my team's first draft pick. But at the end of the day, I just have immense respect for someone who kind of does it themselves. And you do mix your own sausage, and that's real. In a close call, I just think Laura should have gotten more consideration. Then again, you have a lot of people on that panel who aren't people who've ever made sausage before, probably.
Right. And didn't Gail say Manny, it was like a perfect plate of food or a perfect bite of food? Yeah. So like this was a really close one, and I'm with you, and she's on my team. So I'm team Laura here from scratch, but Manny's tasted better. Gail loved it. 9-6 was the vote. So we go 2-2, and I think it's pretty authentic. I don't think this is a case where they rigged it so that they would have a fifth round that would come down to a breaking of a tie. It was 2-2 going into the Bratwurst challenge with Dan and Amanda. And Amanda, after my heart, with a caramelized onion sauce, spatzel, excuse me. It's not spatzel, it's spetzel. And caraway? Is that, am I getting that right?
Caraway, like little seeds in rye. Like when rye bread, we do caraway.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, so that's what that was.
This is by far the most interesting dish of the day among the elimination challenge. And again, I know I keep hitting it with Amanda. I have a huge crush on her food. I love the way she presents these she's done this before with kind of the layers. Like, hey, on the bottom, you'll find, in this case, caramelized onions and a beer mustard sauce. The fact that she made a crispy sauerkraut crumble, I think I have that right. Like, I just love how she conceives dishes. It's just fun food. It is, I want to go to an Amanda restaurant and just look at the menu. She just comes up with the best ideas. And Dan, again, it just a little disappointing. He's been so creative. I mean, this is a guy who, just crushed the chaos challenge and turns, okonomiyaki into a funnel cake. Today, I'm going to do a latke and charred cabbage and exactly what you would imagine, kind of a mustard butter, all the sort of classic flavors of that. And, and I'll slice up some brat and put it on top, right? Like it just wasn't a fully brilliantly conceived or creative dish. He just wasn't as generative as he usually is. And I think, and again, everyone's got, bad days. And by the way, it was a 12-3 vote. Notably though, Tom, Gail and your boy Ryan Braun voted for Dan.
Oh, okay. Well, Dan, let me say something real quick. I initially thought, man, I don't like the discs of bratwurst. It just feels like kid food to me, like when you slice it that way.
It looks like the hot dogs and the SpaghettiOs, right?
Exactly. It felt like very much like the SpaghettiOs with meats, as sausage or whatever it is. What is a SpaghettiO meat? It's just meat, I think, at the end of the day. It feels like kid food. And then when I looked over at Amanda, she did the same thing too. I was like, can they not do some other way of adding the bratwurst to the dish than those discs? It just felt...
It's hard though, like when you cut them in little stars.
Can you do like chopped, like diced, I guess? Or the casing gets weird? I don't know. It seemed like a topping rather than part of the dish. And that, I guess, was the issue with Dan, was it didn't feel like it was the star of the dish. It was like a topping on the latke. So the potato pancake was not his best work, but Amanda wins 12-3. So Team Yellow goes home with the win. Congratulations to Team Yellow. I've got in the top 3, my Michelle, my Kalina, and my Amanda on Team Tom with the top 3. And surprisingly, Michelle takes home the MVP. I would have given it to Kalina.
Yeah, again, you can't taste the food. We don't know, but I thought Kalina was going to win this one. It just seemed like such a crowd pleaser. But I mean, look, Michelle, it's not a surprise, right? Like Michelle has been executing great dishes all season long. Last week, I think she ran into she kind of psyched herself out given the odd parameters of the challenge. Make chaos. It's just not something she does. Mm-hmm. But in terms of just executing great tasting food, I mean, Michelle has been at the top I mean, you could even argue ahead of Danny in terms of like, hey, just go get a bucket, make me a plate of food. Like in terms of just great food, she has just been making the best food. Like, hey, chefs, go make great food. She's winning. And that's what it did. So I don't know. Whereas Kalina, might have had, it's hard to say, but Manny had a good week. I want to kind of go through some of let's quickly go through kind of the people who won on the losing team and the people who lost on the winning team. Like, Manny had a W and Sue had a W, like both of them on the losing team.
Yeah.
It was good to see Manny come back. I thought that was a really kind of back to basics, strongest showing in quite a while. He very well could have ended up in the top 3 had they just kind of chosen based on, just who are the 3 best dishes. You had losses, Laura with the chorizo kebab taco. Everyone, there were numerous people on that thing that I wish I could vote for twice and hold up both of their little flags, because I think there was much reverence for her food. As good as Manny's was, he still only won 9-6, right? And then you had the other loser was, Danny with his bacon wrapped hot dog with the beautiful braised cabbage Pete relish. Weren't a lot of hosannas we didn't get from the crowd, and for whatever reason, they didn't spend a lot of time praising that dish. And I don't know what that necessarily was about. This is not exactly like Danny bait as a challenge goes. He's such a refined chef. It's just like, he's not the guy who's taking junk food classics and, he's a guy taking scallop mousse and turning it into, chow farci, right? That's him. So you saw his limits. He's not the greatest populist chef, if that's the challenge. But all in all, Tom, just great food. I mean, that was sort of like, it's really great to see the chefs cooking great food because we just haven't seen a ton of just bangers this season.
Yeah, and Kevin goes home for not like making a bad dish, like they said. I think that's probably a middle dish, like you're moving on in the competition on a normal challenge.
Yeah.
It didn't feel great when Brittany Snow, by the way, I'm not familiar with the Pitch Perfect series, so I'm not familiar with the work of Brittany Snow, but when she said it tasted like, a good mac and cheese, I was like, oof, that hurts, especially when it's a sausage episode, right? The sausage challenge. So I expected that Kevin would be the one to go home, Savannah and Dan in the bottom 3. I was a little worried for Dan, honestly. I was a little worried that he might be sent home. That those bratwurst discs just really stuck out to me. That, man, that would be brutal. But Kevin goes home, and the risotto curse is alive and well, Kevin.
Tom, we have to talk about next week. There was sort of dual reactions. How do you do 9-player restaurant wars unless you're doing 3 teams of 3? But I didn't see 3 different colored aprons.
I have a theory.
Tell me.
Remember the whole double elimination thing? We don't know if we're going to send 2 home today or just 1. What if there's like a quick fire cook-off?
Oh, they've done that a couple times. That's right. Where they're going to kill someone off before the elimination challenge. Wow. But no, normally for restaurant wars, there is no quick fire, right? Like it takes too long.
Correct. But you know what? There's some curveballs at Miller Park sometimes. And so maybe there's like a little bit of, hey, next episode is Restaurant Wars, but we have to sacrifice someone here to go to Last Chance Kitchen in order to break it down to 8 contestants, 4 against 4. But then they're not going to do it at Miller Park because when they previewed the episode, there were 9 people out there. Very cold. It seemed like a blustery day in Milwaukee. I think they're going to do like a quick fire-esque cook-off before, because otherwise it doesn't work. Restaurant Wars doesn't work 4 and 5.
Yeah, I don't understand it unless you did like 3-3-3, but I think you kind of need 2 line cooks with front and back. It did look like, interestingly, Laura was executive chef of one of the teams. What do we think about that?
Ooh, bad news bears. I do not want any part of that. I just don't think she has the trust of her teammates, but maybe she needs to be the alpha, I don't know.
Yeah, the trust that's the thing, the trust issue. And by the way, one item that we did not talk, we should get to is the very funny and very quick conversation about budgeting and purchasing for the baseball challenge between Laura and Danny, who felt really screwed the last time the teams had to split up resources at Whole Foods.
And the death stare that Danny gave her. He's like, I was making a lot of eye contact with Laura, nonverbal communication.
I thought that was funny.
I also liked Tom with his dad moment again. Hey, are we going to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game here? And they're like, absolutely not. Whoa, can we do the wave? And then they do the wave and then it awkwardly goes all the way back. And it's just, he's great. I love Tom. He's got this like dagger quality to him. And then he's just got like the uncle quality that he's just got he's just little whimsical things that he loves. So we had another team challenge, but I really like this one. You know what? We were pretty hard on the team challenge aspect and the proliferation of team challenges this season, but I really like this episode, Kevin. There is no Last Chance Kitchen recap that we need to do. So my final thoughts is go check out our episode with Amar Santana. We're going to talk to him, not just about, this recent episode. He's a big baseball fan, a Dominican chef out in LA who also did a risotto a couple years ago when he was on Top Chef and he survived. He actually had a pretty good risotto dish, but he was one of the two, according to TopChefStats.com, one of the two runners up who made risotto, and no winner has ever made risotto. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
For Tom Haberstroh, for producer Anthony Mays, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this is Pack Your Knives.